अब समय आयो राष्ट्र जोगाउने हो भने, राष्ट्रिय एकता कायम राख्ने हो भने।
Hello and welcome to our in-depth explainer on the protests that have erupted across Nepal. The country is witnessing a major political crisis as thousands of pro-monarchy supporters have taken to the streets, demanding the reinstatement of the monarchy and the return of Nepal to a Hindu state. But what led to this sudden unrest? Why are so many people calling for the return of the former king? And what are the larger implications of this movement? Let's break it down step by step. For centuries, Nepal was ruled by a monarchy, with the Shah dynasty reigning over the country. However, in 2008, following years of political turmoil and a decade-long Maoist insurgency, the monarchy was abolished and Nepal was declared a federal democratic republic. Since then, the country has functioned as a parliamentary democracy. However, many people believe that the current system has failed to bring the stability, governance, and economic growth they had hoped for. Discontent has been growing over issues like corruption, unemployment, inflation, and weak leadership. Why are people protesting now? This dissatisfaction reached a tipping point on March 28, 2025, when thousands of protesters gathered in Kathmandu, demanding the return of the monarchy. Protesters argue that Nepal's transition to a republic has brought more political instability rather than progress. They believe that the monarchy provided a sense of unity and stability that the current democratic system has not been able to achieve. In addition, a significant section of the population is calling for Nepal to be declared a Hindu state once again. Until 2008, Nepal was officially a Hindu kingdom, but after becoming a secular republic, many feel that Nepal's cultural and religious identity has been diluted. How did the protests turn violent? As the protests gained momentum, tensions escalated between demonstrators and security forces. Clashes broke out in several parts of Kathmandu, with reports of stone pelting, arson, and vandalism of public property. The situation took a tragic turn when at least 2 people lost their lives in the violence, and many others were left injured. In response, the authorities deployed the Nepal army and imposed curfews in key areas, including Tinkyun, Sinamangal, and Kochwar. Death of a journalist, another flashpoint. Adding to the turmoil, a journalist covering the protests was tragically killed under unclear circumstances. His death has fueled further anger, with the media community demanding justice and raising concerns about press freedom in Nepal. Mass protests by journalists have since erupted, condemning violence against the press and calling for accountability. What happens next? The unrest in Nepal is far from over. The demand for a return to monarchy and a Hindu state is not just about nostalgia. It represents deep-rooted frustration with governance, the economy, and political instability. However, bringing back the monarchy is not a simple solution. Nepal's constitution would have to be amended, and the political landscape could become even more divided. Will the government crack down harder on protests? Will public pressure force a referendum on the monarchy? Or will Nepal find a middle ground to address growing frustrations? These are the key questions shaping Nepal's political future.